Hey everyone, it's Lindsay from Meal Mentor and I am back and ready to batch cook. The previous video I showed how I did like a quick prep before I left, because if you just spend 5, 10, 15 or even 20 minutes prepping, if you're slow like I was this morning because I was talking, if you just spend that time, it's so worth the investment because it'll take an hour to 2 hours off your batch cooking. It makes batch cooking go so much easier, more seamless. I can't recommend it enough. So just take a few extra minutes, and I gave a bunch of shortcuts like how you can buy pre-peeled garlic, or you can buy diced onions, or you can buy like cauliflower florets, all these little cheats, all these little shortcuts for when you just don't have time or you don't want to do it, which is me all the time. I'm always looking for the shortcuts, and you'll see some more as I batch. So this is the December 7th meal plan. I am making meals G, A, C, B, D, E from the family plan, basically everything but meal F, because instead of meal F, I am making meal N from the individual plan, and I'll talk more about these as I go. Really exciting week for all these, which is 6, what is that? I am so bad at math on demand, but let's see, it's 7, I think 7 meals, probably 26 servings, and my grocery bill was $32.70, which I actually paid for my half of dinner recently. So it's really awesome to know that I'm gonna have so much food, like a whole week's worth of food for $32.70. And it's one of the things I just love so much about this, just why I love Meal Mentor. But anyway, so going ahead, how I started is the thing I always do is I put up my recipes that I'm making in order, and I use the once a week batch cooking sheet to tell me what order to do them, and then I have everything set out. I've done a video before of me actually like placing the things out if you want to see that, but there's no method to the madness. I just see what ingredients I need and throw it down. So let's get started. Be able to see everything great. So one fun thing is when I was grabbing all of my ingredients, I realized that I had no breadcrumbs. I thought I did when I went to the stores and I didn't buy any, which no problem. While I was grabbing all my ingredients, I made toast, and I'm going to make breadcrumbs right now. This is one of the great things about always storing loaves of bread in my freezer is I always have bread no matter what, so I can make breadcrumbs if I need them. All right. Solve that dilemma and onwards. So I need some garlic. I really should organize this a little bit better like they do on TV, where it's all like preset to everybody goes with everybody else. Feels like right now I can't find my garlic. Oh, and don't get more. Maybe I didn't grab any. So I've been buying this pre-peeled garlic to save myself time all holiday season, and I'm like hooked now. All right, so garlic. And I know this happens to everybody. It happens to me too. I'm using this onion specifically today, so you know that it's okay. This is natural. It happens. I think some people even use these to like grow green onions or grow more onions. I'm sure there's plenty on the internet about that, but I don't, but could be an option for you. And then basically just Always forget my hand towel. Alright, all just the inside. That's good. I'm basically just checking to make sure there's no brown spots in the onion that I put in there. And I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm subbing in a little bit of extra white onion because there was a little more brown than I was expecting on my red onion, but that's life. That happens sometimes, and you just have to make it work. All right, so we'll throw that in. All right, that's so pretty. I love red onions. They're so pretty. All right, what else do I need? 2 Chinese eggplants. This is what Chinese eggplants look like. If you don't have these, my market always has these. I live where there's a heavy Asian population. You can use a regular eggplant too. There's special instructions for that, but these are my Chinese eggplants that I picked up at the farmer's market. Really pretty. But all my markets have them, even my regular supermarket. But we do have a large Asian population here, so that could probably be why. A little bit. And if you think regular eggplants kind of got a weird texture or super meaty, you'll definitely like the Japanese a lot more. I'm forgetting something. My beans, which I rinsed earlier. And I'm actually substituting white beans because I forgot to buy chickpeas. Or, well, I didn't forget to buy. I always think that I have more than I do. or somebody in my house eats it between the last time I checked my inventory and I go to the store. And I haven't been stockpiling. I used to stockpile all the time, but I've been trying not to do that. And there's an upside and a downside. And the downside being that when I constantly overstocked, I never was ever running out of things. There was always a backup. But I do kind of like having all that room in my pantry again. There we go. Come on, Jamie. And my neighbor's lemon tree was very generous this season, and I ended up with so many lemons, probably 20 or 30 lemons, and so I started juicing them and putting them in old mustard jars, and then I just freeze the juice and take it out as I need it. Another way to do it would be to put it in the ice cube trays and then freeze it and pop out the cubes that way, but I didn't have enough room for that. But this works, and I just took it out when I was getting everything out, and it's already defrosted enough for me to get enough to measure out of it. So, yay. And fresh lemon juice is just so much better, but now I don't have to squeeze it or anything because I have it basically already on demand. It smells so good. It makes me want to make some lemonade even though it's winter now. Let's see. All right, so that's all together. Where'd my pot go? And away we go. Stop to scrape the sides. there's one or two stubborn pieces that just won't go, I'll just pull them out and chop it really quick to help it along. There we go. I should have sliced it a little bit better before I stuck it in there. Much better. Check for no big pieces. All right. Who are you barking at, Lily Bean? The food processor. Some dogs hate vacuums. My dogs bark at the food processor. Alright. There we go. I'm going to add a little bit more coriander, just because I really like it to be heavily seasoned. And I know a lot of members like to double up too. I wouldn't double blindly, but if you really like certain flavors, you can always add a little bit more. And I definitely do. I really like things to be very full-bodied and flavorful. I think I'm gonna add a little garlic too. Why not? The spirit moves me. That's the great thing about these recipes, is they are so flexible and forgiving to you. So now all I need to do is mix this together, and then it's got to refrigerate for a little while. It's a really nice shade of purple. Really pretty. The eggplant color is so pretty. All right, so Alexa, set timer for 30 minutes.
30 minutes, starting now.
All right, so while that is refrigerating, I can move along to my bacon grits. Let me see if I can bring you in a little bit closer to the stove now. Get this out of the way. Alrighty. So my mushrooms, which I did earlier. And this is the portobello bacon, which if you haven't had this yet, oh, you need to go make it. It's so good. So good. Alrighty. I'm so comfortable with cooking now that I'm not a huge measurer. Like, I don't measure everything so precisely anymore, but I definitely started out that way. And it's up to you. You can measure, you can eyeball it if you're comfortable. More or less of a spice isn't really going to make or break a dish. It's all kind of personal and custom anyway, but don't eyeball it with baking. You definitely want to be careful there. Where'd that garlic go? I just saw it. There it is. I'm also going to add a little bit of water. Get you started. right, while that's cooking, I can move on to my Samosa Chowder. This is another one where this morning in my previous video, before I left, I minced the garlic and diced the onion in my food processor, or you could have bought it pre-minced or pre-cut. My store was out of diced onion, so my shortcut had to be a half shortcut. There's that. Get that started, see what else I need. And this recipe is an example where I just bought the florets rather than chopping them myself. It's a little more expensive, but you know, my time is also money, so it's how it works. Right, and while those two are, I'm waiting on these two. Let's see, what can I work on? Oh, my spinach and artichoke casserole. So let's see who that is. So the recipe calls for 10 ounces and this is 16, so I know that it's about 2/3 of the package. Really easy, don't need to do anything super measuring. Those little boxes, like the boxes of frozen spinach, I think those are actually 10 ounces. But I just need to pick this up really quick. And the good news is I have all these containers right here I can just use. Not bad. Let's see, what does the directions say? While that's going, I can continue to work. So next, I need to measure 1/2 cup soy milk. And remember, there's always measurements on your blender, so you don't even have to dirty your measuring cup. You can just look right on the blender. Here we go. This down lower for now. There we go. Everything's starting to cook. I'm supposed to blend half of these, so I'm just going to count out half. Oh, that's half, yeah. And you can see how it's half's left. Right, and I'm just waiting to put the spinach in here. While that goes, I can check on these guys. see, what can I do next? I guess I can prepare my soup. All the big pots today. Okay. This is the same sort of thing. I started by having some chopped onions and garlic that I did this morning. Chop that out. I feel like this part is whack-a-mole. It's like check, stir, check, stir, check you, stir, check you, stir. Check the next guy, stir. Check the spinach. That needs a little bit more. Oh, I'm also supposed to be preheating. Alright, back to the Samosa Chowder. Now what do I need to do? Add spices. Okay. With the hotter spices, I do measure just because I can be heavy-handed and not everyone appreciates heat as much as I do. How much of this? Let's see. Of my broth. Although I do prefer to make my own broth, I don't always have time. And one nice thing about buying it is when it calls for 4 cups, I just know I'm using the whole container, so there's no measuring involved. So that's definitely one of my upsides to spending the money on broth, but I do prefer to save the money and make it myself as much as I can, although that seems to be rare this day. This seems to be my favorite shortcut. So I have that. I need to add in this cauliflower. Stop going to sleep. Take out that stem. Actually, I think I'm going to chop some of these florets because they're awfully big. chopping these florets up so that they're a little bit smaller. A little too big for a soup. Maybe not for a side dish, but for a soup, they're a little on the big side. But that's just personal preference. I could have left them whole. That's all small stuff. Don't miss any of that. Alright, there we go. What else? Oh, the potato is also something I did this morning. Alrighty. You go there, right? Yes. Okay, well that's going back to my bacon, which is coming along so nice. Give it a little stir. This guy a stir too. Spinach is done, so I can put that in my blender. Alright, so now that's nice and creamy. Tablespoon here, add my flour. I'm using chickpea flour because I really like it and because I didn't have anything else. And chickpea flour generally is a great gluten-free flour substitute. Anything that's going to be like a gravy or a cream, and this is a spinach artichoke dip. So great, so that's that. This guy here. My bacon's really starting to caramelize, but I do want it to be a little bit more cooked, so no big deal. I'm just going to add a little bit more water to let it cook a little bit more. And back to scraping all this goodness out. Don't want to leave any behind. I can be lazy, I am going to put my artichoke parts right back in the blender and just pulse it a few times to chew it up rather than have to chop with my knife. care how much these things are advertised, they do not replace a food processor. Food processor just does such a better job. Alright, I'll try one more before I give up and cut. Oh, that's not too bad. Alexa, how much time left on my timer?
You have one timer with about 11 minutes left.
So one thing I mentioned earlier is I already had rice cooked because I usually do rice in big batches once a month. And so I pulled that out of the freezer this morning, so I have that, and I can just add it straight into my spinach artichoke dip casserole. And that dish is done, so yay, one down. My bacon's coming along really nice too. Alright, so while my bacon is finishing up, let's see, my timer. Minutes. Alright, so you're just going to keep simmering. Alright, this I can start adding my seasons to. Pick a cumin, okay, no biggie. The rest of the broth. think I'm forgetting my noodles. Yes, noodles. I know I've given these some love before, but I just love these from Trader Joe's. And my husband, who generally hates spaghetti and also hates any kind of pasta that's left over or reheated, this one he doesn't mind whether it's reheated warm or eaten cold. So it is like the miracle spaghetti pasta. If Trader Joe's ever gets rid of it, I will cry so hard. But I love it, and it cooks pretty fast, and it tastes really good. And this is the same thing. I see that I need 8 ounces in the recipe. I know this is 1 pound, which is 16 ounces, so I know it's half the bag. And you could use, in any recipe really that says pasta or noodle, you can use anything, no matter what it says. Just do what you want. I always feel so accomplished when I have my pasta just sitting out of my pot like that. But I'll let that go. You just keep simmering. Check out my mushrooms, which are almost there, and then that recipe will be done because I don't want to do my polenta ahead. I like to make my polenta fresh, or I get the little polenta rounds. I just love those things. More cheats, easy cheats. Let those go. Should put some thyme back there. Oh, it's hot, but there's my casserole. Very pretty. Looks very festive almost. Move this one to the back. Give this stuff a little bit more breathing room. In. And that one's pretty much done as soon as the noodles cook into it, so that's exciting. Oh, I forgot my cilantro. I actually like cilantro. It doesn't taste like cook to me. So. That's some cilantro. Alright, all that's doing, I'll check my bacon one more time. See my beautiful portobello bacon. So delicious. I love this. We make it pretty much every week now. My husband and I like it so much. We put it with and on everything. So that's simmering. I'm still waiting on you to get going. You're done. I guess I can work on my rice salad. I'm almost done. This is really exciting. Morning when I was grabbing everything, I realized I didn't have, even though I had rice in the freezer, I didn't have enough rice, so I just threw some in my rice cooker before I left. So here it is. It's this really nice mixed medley blend, really beautiful. Let me see, how much do I need? Oh yeah, that's about right. Forgot that I measured the exact amount. Here's my rice. Oh, here's my parsnips. So I have 3 done. Yay, moving along. Wow, very I didn't have time to make mayonnaise, so I'm just substituting hummus. Yogurt would also work if I had that on hand, but I like to use hummus sometimes instead of mayonnaise, especially on sandwiches. Some Dijon. I think I mentioned in the prep video that I'm using these little clementine looking oranges instead of an actual orange because my neighbor's tree has so many. Plus I think they taste a little bit better. And they're super seasonal right now, and I love free. Oops.
Alexa off.
That's my timer for my meatballs. So we'll just pause here for a minute. Apparently I'd put my baking sheet to dry in my oven, so that's where it was hiding. No biggie. Just have to be careful not to touch it. Alright, how many balls? If the mixture starts really sticking to your hand, just wet your hand and that will help a lot. I don't get too fussy about the shape because, you know, they're going to go in my mouth, but I do try to make them about the same size. Somebody needs to make like a miniature no bean ball ice cream scoopy tool. That would be awesome. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Good timing. Alright, so the meatballs are done too, so what's left with the chowder? So another oopsie is I was really rushing at the grocery store and I thought that I had pulled out coconut milk, but I actually pulled out coconut cream, and I'm sure this probably has happened to you or might. And so the way I'm going to solve it is I'm going to do mostly almond milk and then like a scoop or two of this coconut cream, and it's going to work. It's going to be great, and then I'll just freeze the rest of this because I clearly don't need all of that, but just a little something in case it happens, because it's real life kitchen. Not everything's perfect. Life isn't a TV show. But we're almost done, so that's exciting. That's right, it goes in here. To open up another one. Now I need to blend half. So I'll bring my blender over. Right. Looks nice and creamy. Put that back in. Get my peas. Yes, peas. I don't know if you guys can see it, but the chowder is so pretty. So pretty. It's a little too... no. You'll see the after picture. Alright, so my chowder is now done too. So now I just need to focus on that guy. Finishing up my salad. Oh, and I have to make my pepperoni lentils. So that's exciting. So my salad is almost done. Where was I? Oh, that's right. I was zesting. So we're getting there. Almost there. And I'm actually planning to then peel these and put the oranges in the salad instead of the apple, just, you know, saving it, making it a little bit easier, getting more use. But I'm gonna put the fruit of 2 or 3 of them in, and then use the juice of the other ones. But just my little tweak of the week. Hey, that rhyme was unintentional. Alrighty. Whoop, I keep dropping these. Oh no! No, no, not in the hummus. Careful with the zester. I don't want to zest my finger. Just one more. This is already looking really pretty too. See, my soup's finally simmering over there, so yay. Being short on lids definitely slows me down because it doesn't boil as fast without the lid. But I keep saying I'm going to go to a Goodwill and get new ones because I broke my other ones. They're just so expensive to reorder online, but someone who watched my videos told me to go look at the Goodwill, so I need to go do that. I'm hoping maybe after the holidays they will have a bunch of stuff. Little suckers are juicy. That's good. Okay. I think I mentioned in the prep video that instead of buying celery for the salad, and because my friend that I'm going to be eating this with, I'm having lunch with a friend later. I know she doesn't like celery, so I'm going to just use a glass of my shredded baby carrots to just kind of, you know, add something to it. As for that sort of crunch. Oh, let me just check on this. Okay, now we're coming along. Noodles aren't done yet, but definitely moving in that direction. Just get some mix. I do need to add my green onions to it, but I'll just slice those up and put it on right before I serve it so it doesn't get too oniony. And sometimes I think onions pick up smells in the fridge, so I've been trying to put my green onions and my stuff on right before serving, and I just save them in like a little Tupperware, a little Ziploc or something separate. It's really coming along very pretty. I think I might end up putting an apple in here after all, just to give it a little something extra. And I have this one. It's kind of bruised, but I can cut around that, so that'll be a good way to use this guy up. And I think I'm almost there. The nice thing is while my meatballs continue to finish baking, I can clean up, and so as soon as they're done, I'm going to be done too, so that's going to be really nice. But before I finish, I still need to do my lentils, which is really easy. It's just mixing my lentils and my spices, and I get to tell you guys one of my favorite spice tips, which is I bought a used cheap coffee grinder, or if you used to drink coffee and you have one, if you're still drinking coffee with it, maybe don't do this, but I just put my spices in my spice grinder, in the coffee grinder to grind them that way, and it really makes it easy, although I always have user error with this. So what spices do I need? Fennel seeds. Where's my time? And this is the other thing, you'll hear I always say rubbed sage, and oh, this is a new one. This is kind of what it looks like. It looks a little bit like basil. Basically, it's just not the powder. You definitely don't want that powdery green stuff. So, you can see it's much more granulated, and there's a pug in the background. Which one is that, Lily Bean? If you notice white on the dogs, they're not graying. They decided to rub themselves against paint. There it is, all nice and mixed. And I took another cheat step this week, and I bought pre-cooked lentils at Trader Joe's. I love these guys, they're perfect. And so all I have to do is mix with my lentils, and that's done too. So I am all finished. I do have to put my stuff away, and the great thing is while I am cleaning up and sort of putting things into their containers for storage, my soup and my meatballs will finish up, and so when they're done, I'm done, and it was really that easy. Let me see, what was the total time? 1 hour and 3 minutes. Not bad for all these meals. So if you want to learn more, visit getmealplans.com. I'm Lindsay Nixon. I am the creator and founder of Meal Mentor, and I did it because I can't cook every night. I can't cook every day. I don't want to. I don't have the time. So I started batch cooking on the weekend. I just put in 1 to 2 hours. Apparently just 1. I guess it's 2 if I also count the 15 minutes of prep and maybe the 10 minutes of cleanup. So, but it's so worth it because now for the rest of the week, I'll have all of my lunches made, I'll have all my dinners made. I just kind of grab and go, and I'm telling you, nothing feels as good or as satisfying or as accomplished as when you're done. Even if it takes you longer than it takes me, you're just still going to feel so good. And then there's something about all of your food being in the containers and opening your fridge and seeing it, and then also knowing each container is yours and like having that like little container serving. It it feels really good. And even my husband loves it. He used to hate leftovers and refuse them, but he's really gotten on board with this and says the food only gets better like as it kind of marinates in the fridge. So something to think about, to consider, to try. You can cook along with me. This is the December 7th meal plan. And like I said, learn more at getmealplans.com.